Chapter 585. That's right. This is my Divine Guard token. You can take a look at it. Lu Ming passed his Divine Guard token to Flying Snow. When he first arrived, Lu Ming urgently needed help. Since Flying Snow and the rest didn't seem like Qin Qingfei and were easy to get along with, Lu Ming had the intention of befriending them. Flying Snow took the Divine Guard token and looked at it. She was astonished. You are really a Tian Divine Guard from the Tianxian region. Although Flying Snow was astonished, the information recorded in the Divine Guard token was irrefutable. The Divine Guard token was made using a special method and was hard for others to imitate. The other girls were also astonished. They didn't expect a Tian Divine Guard from the Tianxian region to appear here. He is actually a Tian Divine Guard from another large region. I have never seen anyone from another large region in my life. Is the Tianxian region fun? Is it the same as the Hong domain? He looks about the same as us, and he's quite handsome. Hee, you are being love-struck again. You can't move after seeing a handsome man? More than a dozen young and beautiful girls surrounded Lu Ming and chattered. More than a dozen pairs of beautiful eyes surrounded Lu Ming and sized him up as if they were looking at a rare animal. Lu Ming was a little speechless. He smiled bitterly and rubbed his nose. All right, don't look at Brother Lu like that. We are all girls. Don't be afraid that Brother Lu will laugh at us, Flying Snow said awkwardly. Only then did the girls back off. However, their beautiful eyes were still looking at Lu Ming. Brother Lu, since you are here by chance, why don't you head to the Hong city and take a look around? Fei Xue looked at Lu Ming. Her beautiful eyes were filled with curiosity. She naturally knew about the Tianxian region. It was a small region and was far inferior to the Hong domain. However, it was obvious that Qin Qingfei had suffered a great loss in the hands of Lu Ming. A person from the Tianxian region could actually defeat Qin Qingfei so easily. He was definitely not ordinary. He might be one of the top geniuses in the Tianxian region. She wanted to befriend him. After all, one more friend meant one more path. Miss Flying Snow, I wonder where is the branch palace of the Emperor Heavenly God Palace in the Hong domain? I have something important to do and need to rush back to the Tianxian domain. I would like to use the interdomain teleportation formation, Lu Ming asked. The branch palaces of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in every major region had a transdomain teleportation array. The Tianxian branch palace also had one, and it was located in the Tianxian city. After all, each major domain was too vast. If one were to fly, it would take a very long time. It would be much more convenient with the teleportation formation. Brother Lu wants to use the interdomain teleportation formation? Just nice, the Grand City is a branch of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in the Grand City. The interdomain teleportation formation is located in the Grand City. It takes 3 days to travel from here to the Grand City. Brother Lu, you can come with us to the Grand City. I will arrange for the interdomain teleportation formation for you, Flying Snow said. Then many thanks to Lady Flying Snow. Lu Ming was overjoyed and cupped his fists to express his gratitude. However, Brother Lu injured Qin Qingfei earlier. This person is narrow-minded and will surely not let the matter rest. It's best that we don't encounter him on this trip. Otherwise, I'm afraid trouble will arise, Flying Snow reminded. With that, Lu Ming followed Flying Snow and the others and flew towards the Grand City. 3 days later, they arrived at the Grand City. The Grand City was where the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace in the Grand City was located. It was majestic and majestic. One could see 8 incomparably huge mountain peaks piercing through the clouds like divine swords. The 8 mountain peaks were located in 8 different locations and were several thousand li apart from each other. The vast territory in the middle of the 8 mountain peaks was the Grand City. The city walls around the Grand City were formed by the 8 mountain peaks. Only the areas between the mountain peaks were the city walls. It was too huge. This was the biggest city that Lu Ming had ever seen. It was like a nation. A city was a nation. Following Flying Snow and the others, Xiao Qin easily entered the Grand City. What dense spiritual energy! Moreover, the state of heaven and earth is extremely intense. The moment Lu Ming entered the grand city, he exclaimed in surprise, "Brother Lu, the area below the grand city is a Dao Eye. As for the spiritual energy, it is because the powerhouses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace used the 8 mountain peaks as the array foundation to set up a huge spiritual energy gathering array. That is why the spiritual energy is so dense." Flying Snow explained. Lu Ming was astonished. The powerhouses of the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were really generous. They actually used the 8 mountain peaks as the array foundation to set up a spiritual energy gathering array. How massive was this inscription array? The density and intensity of the spiritual energy and state of heaven and earth in the grand city were not as high as in Tianxian City. However, Tianxian City was too small. At most, it was only 1,000th the size of the grand city. The streets of the grand city were bustling with people coming and going. There were all sorts of shops and everything. "Brother Lu, why don't you stay in this inn today? I'll go and make arrangements for the inter-province transportation formation." After walking around for a while, Flying Snow said to Lu Ming, "All right, I'll have to trouble Miss Flying Snow." Lu Ming nodded. The inter-province transportation formation was no small matter. It was very strict to use it. One had to investigate one's identity very thoroughly. Normally, people outside the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace were not allowed to use it. The inter-province transportation formation could be said to be the lifeline of a faction. During a great battle, it could quickly mobilize experts for reinforcements. Otherwise, it would be too late to rely on flying. Hence, one had to make an appointment in advance. It was impossible to use it whenever one wanted. Lu Ming was clear on this point as well. "All right. Brother Lu, keep this voice transmission jade talisman. If you need anything, you can look for me at any time. It will take at most 1 day. Brother Lu should be able to set off tomorrow." Flying Snow handed a voice transmission jade talisman to Lu Ming. Then, Lu Ming received it and put it away. Flying Snow and the others left first. Lu Ming rented a room in a nearby inn. Then, he wandered around the grand city alone. Since Xiaoqin came to the grand city by chance, he might as well wander around and broaden his horizons. Indeed, the grand city had many strange things that Xiaoqin had not seen in the Tianxian domain before. Lu Ming was dazzled by the sight. While he was at it, he also bought some strange materials. Of course, Lu Ming did not have many spirit crystals left. The ones he bought were all cheap. "I should go and get some spirit crystals. Otherwise, I won't even have the money to use the interdomain teleportation formation." Previously, he had used up all his spirit stones to break through to the next realm. Now, Lu Ming only had a few tens of thousands of spirit crystals. After asking around for the location of the market, Lu Ming walked towards it. Not long after, Lu Ming arrived at the market of the grand city. He found a shop called the All Creation Pavilion and walked in. Lu Ming sold all the spirit weapons, refining materials, and martial techniques below the heaven level that he did not need. He received about 800,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. 800,000 spirit crystals should be enough to use the interdomain teleportation formation. After wandering around for a while, Lu Ming returned to the inn. The night passed uneventfully. On the afternoon of the second day, Flying Snow found Lu Ming. "Brother Lu, the interdomain teleportation formation has been reserved for you. You can set off immediately." Flying Snow smiled. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. To be able to reserve a spot for the interdomain teleportation formation so quickly, it seemed like Flying Snow's influence in the Grand City Branch Palace was not small. "Many thanks, and Flying Snow. If there is anything Lu Ming can help you with in the future, Lu Ming will definitely not decline." Chapter 586. If he didn't have Flying Snow's help, it wouldn't be so easy for him to obtain a slot to use the teleportation array. "Brother Lu, do you wish to set off immediately, or do you wish to tour around Hong City for a few more days? Flying Snow can be the host and bring Brother Lu around," Flying Snow said. "No need. I have urgent matters to attend to and need to rush back to Tianxian region. If there is an opportunity in the future, I will bother Miss Flying Snow. Lu Ming was indeed anxious. There were only a few days left before the half-year agreement. He wondered how was the situation over at Mulin's side. All right, then I will bring Brother Lu over. Flying Snow smiled. Following which, Lu Ming followed Flying Snow and walked towards the direction of the interprovince teleportation array. In the center of Hong City, there was an endless stretch of palaces. There were many tall and majestic walls that separated the palaces. Along the way, there were many checkpoints. Following which, Flying Snow naturally passed through 7 checkpoints without any obstructions. Flying Snow, you are here. Is this the little brother who wants to use the interprovince teleportation array? At the 8th checkpoint, a middle-aged man was waiting there. When he saw Flying Snow, he revealed a smile. Deacon Lu, that's right. I have to thank Deacon Lu for your help this time. Flying Snow smiled and said, Miss Flying Snow is too courteous. I have already made the arrangements. Follow me, Deacon Lu said politely. Following which, Flying Snow and Lu Ming followed Deacon Lu and continued on their journey. It's you? Brat, stop right there. After passing through a few more checkpoints, a gloomy voice suddenly echoed. Lu Ming followed the voice and looked over. His face sank slightly. Qin Qingfei. Flying Snow's expression changed slightly. Qin Qingfei brought a few young men and walked over. He looked at Lu Ming with a cold expression. Deacon Lu, what's going on? You actually brought an outsider and wandered around in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. You are really bold. Qin Qingfei's eyes turned and landed on Deacon Lu. Deacon Lu's expression changed. He cupped his fist slightly and said, Young Master Qin, this young hero is a good friend of Lady Fei Xue. Furthermore, he is also an Empyrean Divine Guard of the Empyrean Divine Palace. Bullshit. What Empyrean Divine Guard? How come I've never seen one before? Speak, what are you planning to do with him? Qin Qingfei berated. Deacon Lu's expression turned ugly as he said, This young hero wants to take the interdomain teleportation formation. What? Take the interdomain transmission array? Deacon Lu, you are simply too audacious. The transdomain teleportation array is an extremely important item to the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace. You actually brought an unknown person to take the transdomain teleportation array. What if this person is a spy? If something were to happen to the interdomain teleportation array, would you be able to take responsibility? Even if you had 10 lives, it wouldn't be enough. Qin Qingfei roared. Deacon Lu's expression turned even uglier, and he began to hesitate. Previously, it was Fei Xue who had come to him for help. Fei Xue's identity was not to be underestimated. Hence, he naturally agreed readily and did not think too much about it. He also did not suspect Lu Ming's identity. Now that he heard Qin Qingfei's words, he broke out in cold sweat. Indeed, if something were to happen, he would be finished. Even Fei Xue would not be able to protect him. Qin Qingfei, Lu Ming is the Empyrean Divine Guard. He isn't a spy, Fei Xue said. If he isn't a spy, then show me the evidence. Qin Qingfei sneered. He did not believe Lu Ming when he said that he was from the Tianxian region. You want to see the evidence, right? This is my Empyrean Divine Guard token. Take a look. Lu Ming took out his Empyrean Divine Guard token and threw it to Qin Qingfei. Qin Qingfei caught it and took a look. His expression immediately changed, revealing a trace of disbelief. Lu Ming was actually an Empyrean Divine Guard. Moreover, he was an Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region. Previously, Lu Ming had already said that he was an Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region. However, Qin Qingfei did not believe it at all. Why would a Martial King Realm Empyrean Divine Guard from the Tianxian region come to the home domain? Moreover, he appeared in the marionette sex relic. Previously, he thought that Lu Ming was bluffing him. He did not expect it to be true. Now you see it. I am an Empyrean Divine Guard. No matter which palace it is, they all belong to the Empyrean Divine Palace. As long as you are an Empyrean Divine Guard, you are qualified to take the interdomain teleportation formation. Now you can get lost. Lu Ming swept out his true energy and took back the Empyrean Divine Guard token. He said coldly, emphasizing the last two words, get lost. Qin Qingfei's expression changed rapidly. In the end, he rolled his eyes and sneered. So what if you are an Empyrean Divine Guard? It's a pity that the quota for the interdomain teleportation formation has been used up. You will have to wait for the next one. The quota is used up. That's impossible. I asked around yesterday. There is no quota. Fei Xue said. Yesterday? Sorry, it just ended today. Qin Qingfei sneered. That's impossible. Qin Qingfei, get out of the way. I want to ask them personally. Fei Xue shouted. What's there to ask? The elder in charge of the interdomain teleportation formation is my 8th uncle. I will send him a voice transmission and ask him to come over and talk to you. Qin Qingfei snorted and took out a voice transmission jade talisman. He sent a message. Soon, there was a flash of rainbow light, and a middle-aged man appeared. Qingfei, what's the matter? The middle-aged man looked at Qin Qingfei. 8th uncle, Fei Xue brought a kid and wanted to take the interdomain teleportation formation. I told them that there are no more quotas, but they didn't believe me. Qin Qingfei said. The middle-aged man looked at Fei Xue and said, there are indeed no more quotas. That's impossible. There were still quotas yesterday. Fei Xue said with an ugly expression. Fei Xue, you are getting bolder. Are you doubting me? I have been in charge of the interdomain teleportation formation for many years. How can I not know if there are still quotas? Please go back. The middle-aged man's face darkened as he waved his hand. Fei Xue bit her red lips. When will the next batch of quotas be available? At this moment, Lu Ming spoke. It's hard to say about the next batch. After using it this time, the interdomain teleportation formation will need to be repaired. It will probably take about 1.5 years. The middle-aged man sneered. 1.5 years? Lu Ming's face was extremely gloomy. 1.5 years? How could there be enough time? Qin Qingfei and the middle-aged man were obviously making things difficult for him. However, this was the Hong Region Branch Palace, where there were countless experts. The middle-aged man's cultivation was unfathomable. It was impossible for him to barge in forcefully. There was only death waiting for him. However, since the other party insisted that there were no more quotas, there was nothing he could do. Hee hee. Qin Qingfei sneered. Seeing the ugly expression on Fei Xue and Lu Ming's faces, he felt extremely pleased. Miss Fei Xue, let's go. Lu Ming turned around and left. Now, he had to think of other ways. Brother Lu, there might be another way. Fei Xue said along the way. Oh? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. 6 days later, the largest auction in Hong City, the Tianji auction organized by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce, will be held. Every time, the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace will auction off 2 slots for interdomain teleportation in the form of tokens. This is known as the interdomain token. The purpose is to allow people outside the Emperor Heavenly Divine Palace to obtain the opportunity to travel to other regions. As long as one's identity is clean, one can purchase the interdomain token. As long as one can purchase the interdomain token, one's identity will be fine. At that time, Qin Qingfei and the rest will have no reason to stop them. Chapter 587. Cross-region token? 6 days later? Lu Ming's eyes turned. 6 days later, it would be too late. It would be the appointed day. However, there was no other way now. All right, 6 days later, I must get a cross-region token, Lu Ming whispered in a firm voice. They chatted as they walked. Soon, the two of them walked out of the palace. Brother Lu, if you need anything, just let me know. A cross-region token is worth a lot. If you need help with spiritual crystals, Fei Xue can help temporarily, Fei Xue said. No need, Miss Fei Xue. Thank you for your help this time. 6 days later, I will definitely get a cross-region token. Lu Ming cupped his fists and left. 6 days later. Even if I get a cross-region token, it can only be used on the second day. That means 7 days later. I hope I can make it in time. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Lu Ming did not return to the inn directly. He asked around and walked towards the Tianji auction house. He did not have many supreme spiritual crystals with him now. 800,000 supreme spiritual crystals were probably not enough. According to Fei Xue, every time there were 2 cross-region tokens, the price would be raised to a very high level. Lu Ming planned to take out some items to auction in the Tianji auction house. What should I use to auction? Lu Ming pondered as he walked. He had many low-level items with him, but they were not worth much. High-level items such as the true dragon of combat skills, the 3 unique skills of the dragon god, the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, and the tree of enlightenment could not be auctioned. The Xianxiang silicon soil could be auctioned, but Lu Ming could not bear to part with it. Lu Ming also could not take out the 5 level 6 top 7 knots grass because Lu Ming planned to use it to break through level 7 physical body. As for the heaven-class martial skills, Lu Ming had 7 or 8 of them. They were all heaven-class lower-class martial skills. However, it was impossible for 7 or 8 low-grade heaven-tier martial skills to be sold for a high price. It seems that I have to sell some profound crystals, Lu Ming pondered. He had a lot of power Upanishad crystals. It wasn't a big deal to sell some that he didn't need. Soon, Lu Ming arrived at the Tianji auction house. Tianji Chamber of Commerce was the continent's #1 chamber of commerce. Young master, are you putting up a treasure for auction? The moment he entered the Tianji auction house, a beautiful young lady walked up to him and asked with a smile. Not bad. Lu Ming nodded. Most of the people who came to the Tianji auction house were here to auction their treasures. Sir, please follow me. Your treasure needs to be appraised by an appraiser. The girl brought Lu Ming to a counter. Master appraiser, this young hero wants to auction his treasures, the young girl said to a white-haired old man behind the counter. All right, I got it. You can leave now. The old man waved his hand, and the young girl retreated. Little brother, what treasure do you want to auction? The old man smiled as he looked at Lu Ming. He was very amiable and made people feel as if they were bathing in the spring breeze. As expected of the Tianji Chamber of Commerce, their quality was different. I want to auction profound crystals, Lu Ming said. Oh? How many crystals do you want to auction? According to the rules, anything below 10 crystals can't be auctioned. The old man smiled. Anything below 10 crystals was too little. The treasures auctioned by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce all had a base price of 10,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals and above. I'm auctioning 2,000 low-grade profound crystals, Lu Ming said. He then took out a storage ring and handed it to the old man. What? 2,000 crystals? The old man's voice suddenly rose, and his face was filled with shock. Gao King's voice attracted the attention of some people nearby. Some of the young ladies even guessed that there was some special treasure. Otherwise, why would the appraiser be so surprised? Profound crystals were consumables. As long as a martial artist had the right attribute, they would use it to increase their strength. Very few people could take out 2,000 profound crystals to auction at once. The old man's consciousness sank into the storage ring, and his eyes widened. Metal attribute profound crystals. 2,000 of them. All of them are metal attribute profound crystals. The old man exclaimed. He originally thought that even if Lu Ming took out 2,000 profound crystals, they would be mixed with various attributes. If that was the case, the price would be much lower. He didn't expect that they would all be metal attribute profound crystals. The price of the same kind of power Upanishad crystal would be much higher. Those who cultivated metal concept would probably go crazy to bid for them. The market price of a profound crystal was 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. But in fact, 1,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals couldn't even buy one profound crystal. It could often be sold for several thousand, or even more. And the fewer profound crystals there were, the cheaper they would be. If there were a lot, they could be sold in groups, and the price would be even higher. If a martial artist refined 1 or 2 profound crystals, it would only speed up their comprehension of concept. But if there were a lot of profound crystals and they were used continuously, not only would the effect be better, but they could also break through the realm of concept. For example, if a concept reached a bottleneck, 1 or 2 profound crystals might be useless. But 100 of them might be enough to break through the bottleneck. So, the more profound crystals there were, the higher the average price of each profound crystal would be. If 2,000 metal profound crystals were auctioned together, the price would definitely be terrifyingly high. "Little brother, I'll help you register." The old man hurriedly helped Lu Ming register, and then gave Lu Ming a proof of auction. "Little brother, according to the rules, after you auction, you have to pay a 5% commission." The old man smiled. "I understand this." Lu Ming nodded, put away the proof of auction, and left the heavenly secret auction. After making a few rounds in Hung City, Lu Ming casually found a restaurant and walked in. Lu Ming ordered some dishes and wine at a table by the window and started eating. "Have you heard? This time, the heavenly secret auction will have a great treasure to auction. The heavenly secret chamber of commerce announced it a few days ago. I also heard about it. I wonder what kind of great treasure it is." "I don't know exactly what kind of great treasure it is. An elder of my family works at the heavenly secret auction. According to him, it's a rare treasure that's hard to come by." "Oh, I'm looking forward to it." In the restaurant, some people were eating and drinking while chatting. Among them, a short and fat young man spoke the loudest, his face full of pride. At this time, the short and fat young man's expression changed. He took out a sound transmission jade talisman and looked at it. His face changed. Then, he said loudly, "Big news, big news! I just received news that the heavenly secret auction will have another great treasure to auction. Can you guess what it is?" "How can we guess?" "Hurry up and say it," the others said. "Haha, let me tell you. This time, it's profound crystals," the short and fat young man said. "Profound crystals? What's so strange about that? How is it a great treasure?" The others were disdainful. Although profound crystals are not great treasures, when there are enough of them, they become great treasures. "I heard that this time, a set of 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals will be auctioned together. The heavenly secret chamber of commerce has already begun to announce it," the short and fat young man said loudly. "What? 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals?" The others were shocked, and all of them were extremely shocked. Chapter 588. To the side, Lu Ming was also taken aback. He didn't expect the news to spread so quickly. The secret chamber of commerce was really fast. In fact, it wasn't hard to understand why the secret chamber of commerce would do this. In this way, they could attract more people who needed the metal attribute profound crystals to bid. At that time, the price would be even higher, and the secret chamber of commerce would naturally earn more. Lu Ming smiled. This was also a good thing for him. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Lu Ming walked out of the restaurant and returned to the inn. There were still 6 days left. It was just enough for him to cultivate. Now, Lu Ming's cultivation base had already reached the peak of the 9th layer Martial King realm. It would be impossible for him to break through in a short time. As for his martial skills, the 3 arts of the Dragon God had already been cultivated to the 5th level. As for the 9 Dragon Sky Stomping Steps, although his recent progress was extremely fast, it would still take some time to cultivate it to the 4th level. The 4th level of the 9 Dragon Sky Stomping Steps was equivalent to the 6th level of a high-grade heaven-grade martial skill. "Now I can only improve my physical body first," Lu Ming pondered. As long as Lu Ming's physical body broke through to the 7th grade, his battle strength would increase by another level. The 7th grade physical body was 10 times stronger than the 6th grade physical body. There was a huge gap between the 6th grade physical body and the 7th grade physical body. Lu Ming took out a stalk of 7-knot grass. 7-knot grass was originally an ordinary grade 1 spirit herb. However, after being nurtured on the mysterious yellow silicon soil for who knew how many years, it had become a top grade 6 spirit herb. The medicinal power it contained was incomparably rich. Lu Ming used the 10,000 spirit battle body. He slowly transformed the 7-knot grass into all spirit chi and began to cultivate his physical body. The top rank 6 spirit plant was extremely useful even for Sea of Souls realm warriors. The medicinal power it contained was just too rich. The surging medicinal power was constantly transformed into strands of all spirit chi and seeped into Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's muscles, bones, internal organs, and meridians were all rapidly improving, approaching another level. One day later, Lu Ming refined a 7-knot grass. Lu Ming took out another 7-knot grass and continued to refine it. Day after day passed. In the blink of an eye, 5 days had passed. Lu Ming had completely refined the 5-7-knot grass. At this moment, Lu Ming's body was surrounded by a layer of dense mist. A rich medicinal fragrance was emitted from Lu Ming's body. Crackle, the sound of frying beans came from Lu Ming's body. Wisps of gray mist were expelled from his body. They were the impurities in his body. Lu Ming's body was covered in a layer of treasure glow, as if he were a supreme treasure. After 5 days of cultivation and refining 5 stalks of 7 knots grass, Lu Ming's physical body had finally broken through to rank 7. His physical strength had increased tenfold. Kacha! Kacha! Lu Ming's mind flickered. Lu Ming's body emitted a series of sounds. Immediately, Lu Ming's body grew taller, and his muscles also swelled. In a few breaths, Lu Ming had turned into a 2-meter-tall, burly young man. This was the mystery of rank 7 physical body. When one's physical body reached rank 7, one could freely change their muscle, bone density, size, and body shape. With another series of explosions, Lu Ming turned back. Taking out a rank 5 spirit sword, Lu Ming slashed his arm. He felt like he was slashing leather, and couldn't cut it at all. The rank 5 spirit sword was extremely sharp, but now it couldn't cut Lu Ming's skin. It could be seen how powerful Lu Ming's physical body's defense was. Most Sea of Soul realm experts couldn't reach rank 7 physical body. He poured in his quintessential essence, and then slashed his arm. Only then did a wound appear on his arm. However, before blood could flow out, the muscles on the wound quickly wriggled. In a few breaths of time, the wound healed, leaving behind a scar. Furthermore, the scar was also rapidly disappearing. He believed that in a few hours, the scar would completely disappear. Rank 7 physical body is indeed powerful. In this way, my battle strength has increased by at least 20%. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. Don't belittle this 20% increase. Lu Ming's combat strength was based on the convergence of his vital essence, concepts, martial techniques, and many other aspects. Moreover, Lu Ming's combat strength was already extremely shocking. It was already very terrifying that it had increased by 20%. This was also because of the mystery of the 10,000 spirit battle body. Even if other people had rank 6 spirit grass, it would be useless. There is still some medicinal power left in my body. There is still a day before the auction starts. It's just enough time to refine it. Immediately, Lu Ming operated the 10,000 spirit battle body and continued to refine the medicinal power. A day's time passed in the blink of an eye. The next day, Lu Ming received a message. Flying Snow had arrived and was waiting for him downstairs. Miss Flying Snow! Lu Ming arrived downstairs and said with a smile. Brother Lu! Flying Snow also faintly smiled. She looked at Lu Ming with some astonishment. After not seeing him for a few days, she felt that there were some changes in Lu Ming's body. However, she couldn't pinpoint the specific changes. Miss Flying Snow, you also want to go to the auction? Lu Ming asked. The auction held by Secret Chamber of Commerce only happens once every half a year. Moreover, this time, it's said that a rare treasure will be auctioned. Of course, I have to go and take a look. Moreover, this time, there will be a set of 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals being auctioned. I have an elder who also cultivates metal mentality. Soon, it will be his birthday. I want to buy them as a gift for him. Flying Snow smiled. Oh? Lu Ming nodded. I really don't know who it is that actually has 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals. Moreover, they are all auctioned together. This is extremely rare. I reckon that the competition this time will be very intense. I wonder if I can get them. Flying Snow sighed. Lu Ming smiled and rubbed his nose. The two of them walked towards the secret chamber of commerce. Soon they arrived. Miss Flying Snow, you are here too. Please follow me to the VIP room. When Flying Snow arrived, there was a beautiful young lady who welcomed her with a smile. She led Lu Ming and Flying Snow to a VIP room. Like most auction venues, the first floor of the auction venue was a huge hall. Above the hall, there was a high platform used to host the auction. On the second floor, there were many VIP rooms that surrounded the entire hall. The view was excellent and one could see the scene below. Lu Ming and Flying Snow arrived at VIP room number 10. Lu Ming opened the window and looked out. At this moment, there were already many people in the hall. Moreover, the number of people was increasing. In VIP room number 5, Qin Qingfei and a middle-aged man were sitting inside. This time, I must get 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals. Qin Qingfei's eyes revealed a fiery light. He cultivated the metal mentality and had reached a bottleneck. If he could get 2,000 metal attribute profound crystals, he would definitely be able to break through the bottleneck. Moreover, his metal mentality would improve by leaps and bounds. Second young master, although the metal attribute profound crystals are precious, our goal this time is that great treasure. The middle-aged man reminded. Don't worry. This time, my father gave me a large amount of supreme-grade spirit crystals. I will definitely be able to get that great treasure. Qin Qingfei said confidently. Chapter 589. It's that kid again! When Qin Qingfei saw Lu Ming, his eyes turned cold and the corners of his mouth curled up into a sneer. This kid is most likely here for the cross-region token. Hee hee. It's not that easy to get the cross-region token. Qin Qingfei sneered and closed the window. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with a trace of gloominess. There were more and more people in the hall. In the end, there were at least 20,000 people. There was a requirement to enter the Tianji auction house. One must be a martial king or above. Those below the martial king realm were not allowed to enter. In other words, the 20,000 people present were all martial king realm martial artists and above. Lu Ming was secretly amazed. The strength of the Hong domain was indeed powerful. Tianxian domain could not be compared to it. In the Tianxian domain, even if all the martial kings were added together, there wouldn't be more than 20,000 people. And now, there were more than 20,000 people in a single auction. It was simply incomparable. At this time, a middle-aged man in a white robe with a scholarly appearance walked up to the high platform. Branch President Feng Xiu is here! When the middle-aged man walked up to the stage, the whole place became quiet as if he had a great deterrent force. The middle-aged man smiled and said, I believe many people know me. However, there are some new friends who don't know me. Let me introduce myself again. I am Feng Xiu, the branch president of the Tianji Chamber of Commerce in the Hong domain. I am the host of this auction. This time, there are a total of 218 treasures up for auction. They are all top-quality treasures. I hope everyone will be satisfied. Alright, time is limited. Let's begin the first auction today. Feng Xiu was very direct. He went straight to the point and announced the start of today's auction. Immediately, a beautiful young girl walked up with a tray. On the tray, there was a picture. Feng Xiu took the picture and saw a lightning bolt on it. I believe everyone can see that this is an inscription talisman scroll. As long as you inject true essence into it, you can activate the inscription on the inscription talisman scroll and launch a fatal attack. This lightning inscription talisman scroll has the power of a peak 7th martial king realm martial artist. The starting price is 10,000 supreme spiritual crystals and the increment is at least 1,000 supreme spiritual crystals. After the introduction, Feng Xiu gave the starting price. It's actually an inscription symbol scroll. This thing is very rare. At a critical moment, it can save your life. Moreover, its power is equivalent to the full power attack of a 7th level martial king. If used well, it can even kill a 7th level martial king warrior. I'll take it. I'll pay 12,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. There was a burst of discussion at the scene. Immediately, someone began to bid. It's an inscription symbol scroll. Lu Ming's expression also changed. An inscription symbol scroll was a symbol scroll refined by an inscription master. However, an ordinary inscription master simply could not refine it. If one wanted to refine an inscription symbol scroll, the first condition was to be a pure inscription master. In fact, most of the so-called inscribers were not pure. They mainly focused on cultivating martial arts, and inscribing was secondary. Most martial artists would cultivate some Tao of inscription to assist their martial arts cultivation. None of them were pure inscribers. If one was not a pure inscriber, they would not be able to refine an inscription symbol scroll. In the Tianxian domain, there was not a single pure inscriber. It was said that a person's energy was limited. If one wanted to become a pure inscriber, they would need to spend a lot of energy. Their martial arts cultivation would certainly not be too high. Moreover, a pure inscriber's combat strength was extremely low before reaching the 5th level. They could not compare to a martial artist. However, once a pure inscriber broke through to the 5th level, there would be a qualitative change. Their combat strength would become extremely terrifying, and their fighting style would be incomparably mysterious. Therefore, a pure inscriber had another name. They were called a true inscriber. A true inscriber, a true inscriber. These were all things that Lu Ming had seen in ancient books. He did not expect to see an inscription symbol scroll refined by a true inscriber. Just as Lu Ming was thinking, the price rose steadily. It had already broken through 20,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. What a bunch of country bumpkins. There are people who want such a trashy inscription symbol scroll. In the past, when I casually refined an inscription symbol scroll, it was 100,000 times, 1,000,000 times better than this. Dandan was lying on Lu Ming's shoulder with one leg crossed over the other. It was holding a 5th-level elixir that Lu Ming had coaxed it into its mouth. As it chewed, it muttered with a face full of disdain. "Oh, then why don't you refine one for me?" Lu Ming's mouth twitched. "Humph, I am injured now. Otherwise, it would be a matter of minutes," Dandan boasted shamelessly. On the side, Flying Snow looked at Dandan with interest. "Brother Lu, this tortoise monster beast of yours is quite fun." Flying Snow laughed. When a monster beast reached the king level, it could speak. Flying Snow did not find it strange. This fellow, besides boasting, only knows how to eat. It has no other use, Lu Ming said casually. Hearing this, Dandan jumped up from Lu Ming's shoulder, widened its eyes, and said loudly, "Boy, what did you say? How dare you say that I have no use? Outrageous! I am the head of the top 10 battle beasts. I am invincible in the world. How dare you look down on me?" Dandan pointed one of its claws at Lu Ming and said like an old man. However, its voice was childish like a 3-year-old child, causing Flying Snow to giggle. "That's enough. Stay here obediently." Lu Ming smiled and grabbed Dandan's little head. "Outrageous, I'll bite." Dandan bared its teeth and opened its mouth to bite Lu Ming's finger. "Hey, you dare to bite me!" Lu Ming was caught off guard and Dandan bit his finger. He could not get rid of it. In the end, Lu Ming surrendered and took out a level 5 spiritual medicine. Only then did Dandan let go of him angrily. "Now you know how powerful I am." Dandan was complacent and hid in a corner to eat the spiritual medicine. Is this guy the reincarnation of a peerless powerhouse? Lu Ming did not believe it. At this time, the inscription charm scroll had been bought by someone for 35,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. After all, although the inscription charm scroll was powerful, it was only a one-time use item. The price would not be too exaggerated. Then, Feng Xiu took out the second auction item. It was an upper level 5 alchemy furnace. Alchemy furnaces were extremely rare, so the price was several times higher than ordinary spiritual weapons. This upper level 5 alchemy furnace was sold at a high price of 120,000 top-grade spiritual crystals. Then items were taken out one by one for auction. Refining materials, elixirs, spirit weapons, secret manuals, and even demonic beasts, battle pets, and so on. Everything was available. However, although these treasures were precious, none of them caught Lu Ming's eye. Similarly, no one in the other VIP rooms on the second floor made a bid. Everyone knew that these people were waiting for the treasures at the back. The further they went, the more precious the treasures were. The 156th treasure is a bottle of connate source liquid, and it is a middle-grade connate source liquid. I believe I don't need to say more about the function of the connate source liquid. It is the first sacred item for cultivating the body. Chapter 590. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He still remembered that when he was in the Burning Sun Empire, he had bid for Xiantian origin liquid. However, it was a low-grade Xiantian origin liquid, and there were only 9 drops. But now, there was a whole bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid was many times more expensive than low-grade Xiantian origin liquid. However, with my current physical strength, this small bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid won't have much of an effect. But I'll still buy it and give it to Dad and Mom to strengthen their bodies. Lu Ming's heart was moved, and he decided to buy it. All right, this bottle of mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid will start at 50,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. Each bid must be at least 5,000. Feng Xiu announced. I bid 60,000. I bid 70,000. I bid 80,000. As soon as Feng Xiu's voice faded, a group of people started bidding. This bottle of Xiantian origin liquid might not have much effect on Lu Ming, but it didn't mean that it wouldn't have any effect on others. Ordinary martial artists' bodies wouldn't be as strong as Lu Ming's. Even the majority of Sea of Soul Realm experts didn't have a body of 7th grade. Unless they specialized in body tempering arts. Ordinary kings, who used Jinyuan to temper their bodies, would only have a body of 4th grade. There were only a few who could reach 5th grade. Mid-grade Xiantian origin liquid was still very useful to them. The price rose steadily, and soon, it reached 100,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals. 150,000! Suddenly, a clear voice sounded. The person who made the bid was Lu Ming. There was a sudden silence. Lu Ming added 50,000 yuan in one go, showing that he was determined to win. 160,000! Another person made a bid. 200,000! Lu Ming bid again, increasing the price by 40,000. Many people shook their heads and sighed, giving up on the competition. Obviously, Lu Ming didn't hesitate to increase the price. They didn't have the confidence to compete with Lu Ming. To be honest, several tens of thousands of supreme-grade spirit crystals were nothing in Lu Ming's eyes. Now, he needed at least 1,000,000 spiritual crystals to increase his cultivation by 1 level. He had refined more than 20 million supreme spiritual crystals. 200,000 going once. Are there any more bids? Feng Xiu asked. 215,000. At this moment, a lazy voice sounded. It came from VIP room 5. Qin Qingfei. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. That voice belonged to Qin Qingfei. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei had a cold smile on his face as he thought to himself, "Brat, if you want it, I won't let you get it so easily." 250,000. Lu Ming directly raised the price to 250,000. 255,000. Qin Qingfei's voice rang out again, but it was only a symbolic 5,000 yuan increase. That seems to be Qin Qingfei. That's right. I wonder who's in VIP room 10? He seems to have offended Qin Qingfei. Qin Qingfei doesn't intend to bid at all. He's deliberately raising the price with the other party. At the scene, many people saw through Qin Qingfei's intentions. 300,000. If you raise the price again, I'll let you have it. Lu Ming's voice rang out. Haha, since you've offered 300,000 for a bottle of innate original liquid that's worth more than 100,000, how can I compete with you? I'll let you have it. Qin Qingfei's mocking voice rang out. 300,000 going once. Is there any more bids? Feng Xiu asked. No one said anything. What a joke. A bottle of middle-grade innate original liquid was worth more than 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 300,000 was too expensive. Who would bid? Feng Xiu asked 3 times in a row, but no one bid. This bottle of innate original liquid naturally belonged to Lu Ming. After a short while, a young girl sent the innate original liquid to VIP room 10. Young master, the president has said that your spiritual crystals can be settled after the auction. The young girl said coquettishly. Okay, thank you, miss. Lu Ming nodded and put away the innate original liquid. Brother Lu, do you have any treasures to auction here? Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she asked. Only treasures that were put up for auction could be paid after the auction was over. I do have one. Lu Ming nodded. Fei Xue didn't ask further, but she was a little curious. The auction continued. Soon, dozens of auction items were auctioned off. I believe everyone has heard of the 198th auction item. It's the interregion token, which is a slot to take the interregion teleportation formation. I believe everyone knows that activating the interregion teleportation formation consumes a terrifying amount of energy. Therefore, the cost of taking the interregion teleportation formation is also extremely high. Even if it's teleported to the nearest region, it will cost at least 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. The further the distance, the more expensive the teleportation will be. Originally, there were 2 slots to be auctioned this time. However, the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace took 1 slot back at the last minute. Now there's only 1 slot left. This slot can travel as far as 20 regions. Now, the starting price is 100,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Each bid must not be less than 10,000 spiritual crystals. Let the bidding begin. Feng Xiu announced. Only 1 left? I must get this one. Lu Ming's eyes flickered. I bid 110,000. I bid 120,000. As soon as Feng Xiu's voice fell, someone immediately started bidding. After all, the Emperor Heaven Deity Palace only gave out 1 or 2 slots each time. How many people were there in the entire Hong domain? There were bound to be people who wanted to head to other regions. Naturally, there were many people bidding. Soon, the price rose to 200,000. I bid 250,000. Everyone, I have something important to do in the Flying Silk region. Please let me have this slot. I'll be very grateful. An old voice sounded. You have something to do? Don't tell me I have nothing to do. I want to go to the Lu Sky region. I bid 280,000. A deep and resounding voice rang out, not giving way at all. 300,000. 320,000. Soon, the price rose to 400,000. Those who bid were all at the Greater Success King realm, or above. Those below the Greater Success King realm usually couldn't afford so many supreme spiritual crystals. I bid 600,000. Suddenly, a voice sounded, shaking the entire place. All of a sudden, he added 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals, showing that he was determined to get this slot. It's VIP room 10. Someone looked at VIP room 10. The one who bid was naturally Lu Ming. He was determined to get this slot. The crowd fell silent. 600,000 yuan was too much. Moreover, who knew if Lu Ming would continue to raise the price? Haha, this kid finally can't help but raise the price. 600,000 is too low. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei sneered and said, 700,000. Qin Qingfei called out 700,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Lu Ming's eyes turned cold as he looked at VIP room 5. It's this guy again. I knew he would cause trouble. Chapter 591. 800,000. Lu Ming continued to bid without hesitation. 810,000. Qin Qingfei immediately added another 10,000. Lu Ming's eyes flashed with murderous intent as he continued to bid. 1 million! 1,010,000! Qin Qingfei added another 10,000. Wow! The entire place was in an uproar as a heated discussion broke out. It seems like the person in VIP room 10 has really offended Qin Qingfei. Otherwise, why would he keep targeting him? Qin Qingfei is obviously doing this on purpose. Interesting. There were all kinds of expressions at the scene. Some were unhappy with Qin Qingfei's character, while others were gloating and watching the show. Damn it! Qin Qingfei, what do you mean by this? Are you deliberately raising the price? Fei Shui angrily opened the window and angrily shouted at the 5th VIP room. That's Fei Shui. No wonder. Fei Shui's faction and Qin Qingfei's faction are enemies to begin with. It's no wonder Qin Qingfei would deliberately increase the price. Someone immediately recognized Fei Shui. Hee, Fei Shui, don't slander me. I'm bidding normally. Why? You're allowed to bid for the treasures, but I'm not allowed to bid. The Tianji auction house doesn't have such a rule. Qin Qingfei opened the window and sneered. He deliberately looked at Lu Ming provocatively with a mocking look on his face. Damn it! Fei Shui closed the crystal window angrily and gritted her teeth. It doesn't matter, Lu Ming said plainly. He looked calm and continued to bid. 1,200,000. Anyway, 2,000 metal elemental ultimacy crystals would be worth at least 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. This was the lowest price. In fact, it was definitely more than that. 1,200,000. Qin Qingfei continued to bid. 1,300,000. Lu Ming continued to bid without hesitation. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei's face flashed with a smug smile as he continued to bid. Second young master, the treasures at the back are more important. If you continue to bid and the other party doesn't want it, we will have wasted 1,300,000 supreme spiritual crystals. I'm afraid it will affect the later part of the plan, the middle-aged man advised. Qin Qingfei's eyes flickered a few times. In the end, he did not continue to raise the price. His mocking voice rang out. 1,300,000 for a spot. Hee, I'll let you have it. Qin Qingfei withdrew from the bidding, so naturally, no one else made a bid. This spot fell into the hands of Lu Ming. After a while, a young girl took out a token and handed it to Lu Ming. With this token, Lu Ming could use the interdomain transfer array. Lu Ming put away the token. His expression had always been calm, but underneath the calmness, there was an endless storm. The auction continued. The further they went, the more precious treasures there were. Especially after the 210th treasure, each of them was the best of the best. The price of each of them was more than 1 million supreme spiritual crystals. Some of them even went as high as 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. Okay, now, there are only 2 treasures left. The next item to be auctioned is a set of ultimacy crystals. 2,000 pieces of metal element ultimacy crystals. After a pause, Feng Xiu continued. As everyone knows, the market price of ultimacy crystals is about 1,000 pieces. In fact, 1,000 ultimacy crystals is absolutely impossible to buy. Moreover, the more ultimacy crystals there are, the higher the price. Now, 2,000 ultimacy crystals have a base price of 2 million supreme spiritual crystals. Each bid must not be less than 100,000. 1 million. 2 million. As soon as Feng Xiu's voice fell, someone immediately started to bid. Most of the bidders were from the VIP rooms on the 2nd floor. After all, 2 million supreme spiritual crystals was an astronomical figure for most people. Tianji Chamber of Commerce had started to advertise 5 or 6 days ago. Many people had come specifically for the 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals. Therefore, there were many bidders and the competition was extremely fierce. Fei Shui was also tempted and joined the ranks of the bidders. In VIP room number 5, Qin Qingfei's eyes were shining with passion. He said, "Don't even think about competing with me. The 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals are mine." He was not in a hurry to bid. He was waiting for the right time. The price rose steadily and soon reached the 3 million mark. Moreover, it was still rising rapidly. 5 million! Fei Shui bid. Lu Ming looked at Fei Shui in surprise. It seemed that Fei Shui's identity was not ordinary. To be able to take out 5 million supreme spiritual crystals for the birthday celebration of a senior was already a big deal. However, someone immediately called out a bid that surpassed Fei Shui's. 6 million! 7 million! 4 million! In just a short while, the price had broken through the 4 million mark. Forget it. This price is too high. Fei Shui sighed and withdrew from the competition. At this moment, there were still a dozen people bidding. These people were definitely not ordinary. Some of their voices were very old, and they were definitely seniors who had lived for a long time. 5 million! Suddenly, a voice reverberated throughout the entire place, causing the entire place to fall silent. In just a short while, the price had increased by 1 million supreme spiritual crystals. It was terrifying. Qin Qingfei. There was a cold smile at the corners of Lu Ming's lips. He could tell that the person who made the bid was Qin Qingfei. 5 million. Is there anyone else bidding? Feng Xiu asked. 1 million. After a moment of silence, someone finally made a bid. 2 million. Qin Qingfei increased the price without hesitation. 3 million. Someone continued to bid. The price continued to rise. Soon, it had exceeded 6 million. At this price, most people had withdrawn from the competition. Only one person was still bidding with Qin Qingfei. 8 million. Qin Qingfei called out a terrifyingly high price. That person was silent for a while. In the end, he sighed and did not say anything. Qin Qingfei was overjoyed. The 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals were finally going to be his. With these 2,000 metal element ultimacy crystals, his state would be able to break through quickly and reach the limit of level 1 greater mastery. He would then be able to reach level 1 greater mastery. Just as he was thinking about it, a voice interrupted him. 7 million. Someone called out 7 million. Brother Lu. Fei Shui whispered and looked at Lu Ming in surprise. It was Lu Ming who had called out 7 million. Damn it, Lu Ming. Qin Qingfei's eyes were cold. He naturally recognized Lu Ming's voice. 2 million. Qin Qingfei directly increased the price by 200,000 supreme spiritual crystals. 3 million. Lu Ming smiled and added 100,000 supreme grade spirit crystals. 5 million. Qin Qingfei increased the price again. 6 million. Chapter 592. Damn it, damn it! Damn you, you little bastard! Qin Qingfei roared. How could he not know that Lu Ming was raising the price to take revenge on him for raising the price previously? 8 million! Qin Qingfei roared and called out a high price of 8 million. 8,100,000! Lu Ming continued to add another 100,000. Damn it, kid, you're purposely raising the price and disrupting the auction. Qin Qingfei finally couldn't hold it in and roared. Hee hee, what a joke. Who said that I'm raising the price? I'm bidding normally. You're allowed to bid, but I'm not. Lu Ming sneered. Qin Qingfei had said those words to Lu Ming and Fei Shui previously. Now Lu Ming was returning the words to him. Damn it, 8,300,000! 8,400,000! 9 million! Qin Qingfei shouted out this number hysterically. This was already all he had. Any more and he couldn't add on. Although he still had a large number of spiritual crystals on him, they were all transferred to him by his father to bid for that precious treasure. 9 million? Young Master Qin is indeed rich. I'm impressed. I'll let you have it then. Lu Ming chuckled and withdrew from the auction. 9 million was already an extremely high price. If he continued to bid, Lu Ming was afraid that Qin Qingfei wouldn't want it. In the end, Qin Qingfei won the bid for 2,000 metal profound crystals for 9 million supreme spiritual crystals. Alright, time passes quickly. It's time for the last auction item of the day. This auction item is an extremely rare treasure. Feng Xiu's voice spread throughout the entire place. Everyone's spirits were lifted. Most of them knew that they weren't qualified to participate in the final auction. However, they wanted to watch the show and gain some knowledge. In the future, they could boast to their acquaintances. Many people widened their eyes and waited for Feng Xiu to take out the last treasure. Lu Ming also looked on with interest. He wanted to see what the last treasure was. At this moment, Feng Xiu's palm glowed. A jade bottle appeared in his hand. Jade bottle? Could it be some kind of pill or spiritual liquid? Everyone guessed. Haha, I won't keep you in suspense. This bottle is life water. Feng Xiu's gaze swept across the entire place as he spoke word by word. Whoosh! As soon as Feng Xiu's voice fell, the whole place exploded. What? Water of life? The legendary water of life that can revive the dead? The water of life, a peerless treasure that can heal any injury, no matter how severe it is. How is that possible? Oh my God, are you serious? Countless gasps of surprise and astonishment could be heard at the scene. Bang! In VIP room 10, Lu Ming also stood up abruptly and looked outside, his eyes emitting a blazing light. The water of life, it was actually the water of life. He had to get it. With the water of life, Lu Yuntian's meridian injuries would be completely healed, and he would be able to step onto the path of martial Tao once more. He had sworn an oath a long time ago that he would find a treasure that could cure Lu Yuntian, but he hadn't come across such a treasure until now. The water of life, it's actually the water of life. Haha, my father has the foresight. This time, I must get it. In VIP room 5, Qin Qingfei also stood up, his eyes blazing with passion. Everyone was boiling with excitement, their eyes blazing with passion. Everyone, to be honest with you, this bottle of water of life isn't pure water of life. It has been diluted, and the concentration is only about 1/10 of the pure water of life. Moreover, it's just a rumor to revive the dead. No matter how much pure water of life there is, it can't be done, let alone diluted water of life. However, there's one thing that I'm sure of. Even if it's diluted water of life, as long as it's a physical injury, it can be healed. Even if your arm is chopped off, as long as it's reattached immediately and the diluted water of life drips on the wound, it can be reattached and healed perfectly. Feng Xiu introduced loudly. Even so, the crowd's enthusiasm was still high. The diluted water of life was also a peerless treasure. Alright, let's start the auction. The starting price is 5 million supreme grade spirit crystals, and each bid must be at least 200,000 supreme grade spirit crystals. Feng Xiu announced. 5,500,000. 5,800,000. 6 million. In an instant, someone made a bid. Tianji Chamber of Commerce had long announced that there was a peerless treasure to be auctioned this time. Although they didn't say what the treasure was, it still attracted a lot of people's interest. Many wealthy people had already prepared their spirit crystals and were waiting for them. For example, Qin Qingfei. Now that the water of life was out, there were people bidding one after another. Even if the water of life was diluted, it was equivalent to having an extra life if used well. Who wouldn't be tempted? With the water of life, they could explore more dangerous forbidden lands and ruins to find more precious treasures. The price soared at a terrifying speed. Not long after that, the price of 2,000 metal element crystals had broken through the sky-high price of 9 million, reaching 10 million. 11 million! Qin Qingfei shouted. 11,500,000! Immediately, someone increased the price by 500,000. Deacon Wu, quickly send a voice transmission to my father and ask him to transfer another 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals to me. Today, I must get the water of life, Qin Qingfei said to the middle-aged man beside him. Yes, second young master. The middle-aged man quickly took out a voice transmission jade talisman and began to send a voice transmission. The price continued to rise. Soon, it reached the terrifying price of 15 million, but there were still many people competing. 15,500,000. Qin Qingfei shouted. 16 million. The price continued to rise. When the price reached 20 million, the number of people bidding finally decreased. Many people sighed. 20 million was too terrifying a price. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't compete. Many people who didn't have the financial resources to compete were also excited. 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals was an astronomical figure for most people. However, it was rare to see so many people bidding for a treasure. Being able to see it with their own eyes was also a kind of bragging rights. At this time, only 3 people were still competing. Qin Qingfei was one of them. 23 million. When Qin Qingfei shouted the sky-high price of 23 million, another person withdrew. When Qin Qingfei shouted the price of 25 million, the last person withdrew. Haha, the water of life is mine. You want to compete with the Qin family in terms of financial resources? Dream on. Qin Qingfei laughed. 26 million. At this time, a clear and firm voice sounded. Chapter 593. Lu Ming's bid made the atmosphere at the scene lively again. Someone else is bidding. I thought it would fall into the Qin family's hands. It's him again. It's that young man in VIP room 10 again. Who is he? Not only has he repeatedly gone against Qin Qingfei, but he's also so rich. There was a burst of discussion in the hall. Damn it! It's that little bastard again! Qin Qingfei shouted angrily. His eyes were filled with killing intent as he stared at VIP room 10. In VIP room number 10, flying snow also revealed an extremely curious expression. Lu Ming was really from the Tianxian domain. He had asked for more than 20 million supreme-grade spirit crystals. Was the Tianxian domain that rich? This guest has bid 26 million. Are there any higher bids? If not, this bottle of life elixir will belong to this guest. Feng Xiu shouted. 27 million! Qin Qingfei shouted. 28 million! Lu Ming did not hesitate. 29 million! 30 million! Lu Ming directly raised the price to 30 million. At this moment, there was no sound in the hall. Everyone looked at Lu Ming and Qin Qingfei in a daze. Kid, let me tell you. This bottle of life elixir is highly valued by the Qin family. You've repeatedly gone against the Qin family. Are you courting death? Qin Qingfei shouted angrily. Haha, repeatedly going against the Qin family? What a joke. I remember that I have never taken the initiative to provoke you. You're the one who provoked me every time. Now you're saying that I've repeatedly gone against the Qin family? Lu Ming sneered in response. Kid, if I say you're wrong, then you're wrong. Now stop bidding. I'll bid 30 million and 200 million. Qin Qingfei shouted. What a joke. 31 million. Lu Ming could not be bothered with him and continued to bid. Damn it, damn it. President Feng, I suspect that this person is simply raising the price. He doesn't have that many supreme-grade spiritual crystals. Qin Qingfei shouted. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This time, Qin Qingfei was right. He did not have that many supreme spiritual crystals with him. Seeing that Lu Ming didn't say anything, Qin Qingfei's eyes lit up. He was overjoyed and said, President Feng, did you see that? This person doesn't dare to speak. I don't think he has that many spirit crystals. I suggest that we check the number of spirit crystals he has. If he doesn't have that many spiritual crystals, then he is disrupting the auction and will be severely punished. Feng Xiu's gaze also looked towards VIP room number 10. The Tianji Chamber of Commerce had a rule that if a bidder failed to produce enough spirit crystals after bidding, it would be considered disrupting the auction, and they would be severely punished by the Tianji Chamber of Commerce. In the past, there had been people who had disrupted the auction of the Heavenly Secret Chamber of Commerce, resulting in their cultivation being crippled. Some had even been killed. At this point, no one dared to bid recklessly anymore. Lu Ming was the one who had auctioned off 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. Feng Xiu had known this for a long time, so he thought that Lu Ming should have spirit crystals. However, now that Lu Ming was silent, there must be a problem. Lu Ming opened the window of the VIP room and everyone looked at him. I really don't have that many supreme spiritual crystals, Lu Ming said calmly. There was an uproar in the room. Damn, he really doesn't have that many spirit crystals. It turns out that he is trying to gain something without risking anything. How dare he try to gain something without risking anything in the Tianji Chamber of Commerce? He's courting death. Young man, blinded by greed, he's dead meat now. Many people sighed. Haha, this kid really doesn't have spirit crystals. Haha. Qin Qingfei was overjoyed. He had just said it casually out of anger. He never expected that Lu Ming would be so bold as to not have any supreme spiritual crystals. Brother Lu, don't admit it first. I'll think of a way to get a batch of spirit crystals for you. Fei Xue's expression changed greatly as she whispered hurriedly. Miss Fei Xue, there's no need for that. Lu Ming waved his hand. His face was still calm. He looked at Feng Xiu and asked, President Feng, how many spirit crystals do I have left after deducting the spirit crystals I bought from the auction? Feng Xiu was bewildered. Her eyes sparkled as she said, You've used 1,600,000 top-quality spirit crystals in 2 auctions. You sold 2,000 metal Upanishad crystals for 9 million. After deducting the 5% commission, you have 6,900,000 spirit crystals left. As soon as he said that, everyone was stunned again. What? Those 2,000 metal power Upanishad crystals belong to him? Damn, I thought some senior expert put them up for auction. It's actually his. How could he have so many supreme spiritual crystals? Everyone was surprised and curious. However, the remaining 6 million spirit crystals were not enough. As for Qin Qingfei, he was so angry that he almost vomited blood. He never dreamed that the 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals were Lu Ming's. Previously, Lu Ming had purposely raised the price so that he had to spend 9 million to buy the 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals. Thinking of this, he was so angry that his chest hurt. Kid, so what if it's yours? It's far from 31 million. If you can't take out so many supreme spiritual crystals today, I'll see how you die. Qin Qingfei gritted his teeth. Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she looked at Lu Ming in surprise. She did not expect that the 2,000 metal attribute profundity crystals would belong to Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you bid 31 million supreme spiritual crystals. Can you take out 31 million supreme spiritual crystals? Qin Qingfei asked loudly. I don't have any supreme spiritual crystals. However, I can use the supreme spiritual crystals to offset it. Lu Ming said calmly. Offset it with supreme spiritual crystals? What a joke. You've already taken out 2,000 supreme spiritual crystals. I don't believe that you have more. Qin Qingfei continued to clamor. However, before he could finish, he was almost blinded by a golden light. Lu Ming waved his hand and a pile of supreme spiritual crystals appeared in the air. Each of them was shining with golden light and emitted a strong intent realm aura. All of them were supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. So many? All of them are supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. How many pieces are there? Nestle, did he get a large supreme spiritual crystal mine? Everyone was shocked. Many people stared at the pile of supreme spiritual crystals in the air with burning eyes. Qin Qingfei's eyes were wide open. He was tongue-tied and dumbfounded. He swallowed the rest of the words he wanted to say. Fei Xue's beautiful eyes flickered as she looked at Lu Ming with curiosity. Here are 5,000 supreme spiritual crystals of the metal element. I won't take them out for auction. President Feng, do you accept supreme spiritual crystals? Lu Ming said to Feng Xiu. Yes, of course. How about this? My heavenly secret chamber of commerce will buy all 5,000 supreme spiritual crystals. The price. Feng Xiu was overjoyed and was about to say the price. President Feng, wait a minute. Before Feng Xiu could state the price, Lu Ming spoke again, interrupting Feng Xiu. Chapter 594. Feng Xiu looked at Lu Ming in confusion. However, in the next moment, his pupils suddenly shrank. Lu Ming waved his hand again, and another pile of profound crystals appeared in the air. This time, each of the profound sense crystals was sparkling with a blue light, releasing a strong intent domain aura that could enchant people. This time, it was a water-attributed profound crystal. Profound crystals! Gosh! More profound crystals! They are not any less than those metal-attributed profound crystals. How is this possible? Who is this person? I have never seen him before. Could he be an exceptional genius from a super-large region? Is it possible? He bid for the trans-region token earlier. He must be a genius from another large region. No wonder he has so many profound crystals. Once again, intense discussions broke out at the scene. Fei Xue, Qin Qingfei, and the others looked at Lu Ming in shock. President Feng, here are 5,000 water-attributed profound crystals and 5,000 metal-attributed profound crystals. A total of 10,000 pieces. Sell them all, Lu Ming said. All right. I will take them all. I will pay 40 million spirit crystals for the 10,000 profound crystals. What do you think? Feng Xiu said. All right. Lu Ming agreed immediately. 40 million spirit crystals was not low. An average of 2,000 pieces was equivalent to 8 million spirit crystals. Although 2,000 spirit crystals were sold for 9 million spirit crystals, that was because Lu Ming raised the price. Under normal circumstances, they might not be able to sell for 9 million spirit crystals. However, there were more of them now. 5,000 spirit crystals per set. After the secret chamber of commerce bought them, they would publicize them. When they auctioned them, they would definitely sell them for a higher price. After all, the more profound crystals there were, the higher the price. 5,000 spirit crystals per set was more tempting than 2,000 spirit crystals per set. Lu Ming took out a storage ring and put the 10,000 profound crystals into it. Then, he tossed it to Feng Xiu. Many people's eyes were burning. If it were outside, someone would have already tried to snatch them. However, this was the secret chamber of commerce. Who would have the guts? Unless they did not want to live anymore. If they offended the secret chamber of commerce, even the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace would not be able to protect them. Some people looked at Lu Ming with burning eyes. Lu Ming had so many power Upanishad crystals. Did he have more? Many people had different thoughts. Lu Ming originally didn't want to be so ostentatious, but he couldn't do it. He had to obtain the life water. Moreover, he was going back tomorrow. He was not worried about leaving this place. At this time, Lu Ming looked at Qin Qingfei again with a mocking expression. Now I have spiritual crystals to bid, right? Damn it! Qin Qingfei growled. His eyes were filled with fury and killing intent. 32 million. Qin Qingfei gritted his teeth and continued to bid. 33 million. Lu Ming raised the price without hesitation. 34 million. 35 million. 40 million. In a few moments, Lu Ming raised the price to 40 million. At this time, Qin Qingfei was already trembling all over. His eyes were red as he stared at Lu Ming. Quick, send a voice transmission to my father and get another batch of spiritual crystals. Qin Qingfei shouted at the middle-aged man. At this time, he was no longer competing for the life water. Instead, he was competing with Lu Ming. Second young master, you should give up. Master just sent a message to ask you to give up. 40 million is too high. Don't compete. The middle-aged man said. What? Don't compete? How can I not compete? Qin Qingfei was trembling all over. He gritted his teeth. Why? No more spiritual crystals? If you don't have any, just give up. Lu Ming sneered. This made Qin Qingfei so angry that his chest hurt again. He had completely lost today's auction. Brat, just you wait. Qin Qingfei left behind these words and left dejectedly with the middle-aged burly man. 40 million. Is there anyone who wants to bid higher? Feng Xiu looked around. However, how could anyone bid for 40 million? Feng Xiu asked 3 times in a row. In the end, the life water was bought by Lu Ming. Following the conclusion of the bidding for the water of life, the soul-stirring auction also came to an end. Haha, little brother, how should I address you? After the crowd dispersed, Feng Xiu took the water of life and walked into VIP room 10 with a candid smile. Junior Lu Ming greets Senior Feng. Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, Haha, brother Lu, there's no need to be so polite. This is your life water. Feng Xiu handed the life water to Lu Ming. Subsequently, he took out a storage ring and passed it to Lu Ming. The 40 million spirit crystals for the water of life can be offset by the 10,000 profound crystals. There are 6,950,000 supreme-grade spirit crystals here. Please check. No need. Lu Ming took the storage ring and put it away. The Tianji Chamber of Commerce was spread all over the continent, and had existed for countless years. There was no doubt about its reputation. Lu Ming was not worried about this. Then, Lu Ming, Flying Snow, and Feng Xiu bade farewell and left the Tianji auction house. Brother Lu, don't show off your wealth. You took out so many ultimacy crystals this time. I'm afraid some people will remember it. You have to be careful. Along the way, Flying Snow warned. They dare to make a move in Grand City? Lu Ming asked. Most people don't dare to do it in Grand City. However, we can't rule out some people who might take the risk. It's better to be careful. Flying Snow said. Lu Ming nodded. Miss Flying Snow, I'll be the host today. Will you accept my invitation? Lu Ming smiled faintly and looked at Fei Xue. He and Flying Snow met by chance, but Flying Snow had taken care of him many times. Lu Ming felt that he could make friends with Flying Snow. All right. Flying Snow agreed straightforwardly. The two of them found a restaurant and ate and drank to their heart's content. Brother Lu, with your cultivation at such a young age, I'm afraid it won't be long before you make it to the list of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness. After a few glasses of wine, Flying Snow's cheeks were flushed and her eyes were watery. She was extremely beautiful. List of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness? Lu Ming whispered, a glimmer of light flashing in his eyes. Soon, he would be fighting against Saint Star on the list of top 1,000 talents. With Brother Lu's talent, I believe it's only a matter of time before you make it to the list of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness. Perhaps you can even participate in the Battle of Providence in 2 years? Flying Snow smiled faintly, as beautiful as a divine flower. To be honest, Flying Snow's appearance and temperament were not inferior to Xian Yanqing, Autumn Moon, or Mulin's. She was one of the most beautiful women Lu Ming had ever met. Battle of Providence? Lu Ming was puzzled. This was the first time he had heard of it. Yes, the Battle of Providence is very important. At that time, all the geniuses in Eastern Wilderness will participate. Not only the human clan, but even the demon clan will participate. Brother Lu, haven't you heard of it? Flying Snow said. No, all the geniuses in Eastern Wilderness will participate. Lu Ming was very curious. Actually, I'm not too sure either. I only know that the Battle of Providence is held once every 20 years. It involves not only the Eastern Barren Territory, but also the Middle Continent, the Southern Underworld, the Western Desert, and the Northern Plains. However, there won't be any competition between each other. It will be a competition within each region. When the time comes, the 4 dominating forces of the Eastern Barren Territory and countless smaller forces will have an intense competition. I heard that most of those who can stand out in the Battle of Providence will become the most powerful experts in the continent. Chapter 595. Lu Ming was extremely curious. It involved the entire divine desolate continent. How shocking. He wanted to ask more, but Fei Xue did not know much. She had only heard about it from her elders. At this moment, Qin Qingfei was discussing something with a few people in a luxurious hall in Hong City. Second young master, are you really going to make a move on Lu Ming? But in Hong City, apart from some special places, you can't make a move. What if? A middle-aged man said worriedly. What are you afraid of? If anything happens, I'll take responsibility. That kid has too much wealth. Apart from the water of life, who knows how many more profound crystals he has? We can't let him go. Qin Qingfei's eyes flashed with greed. Since that's the case, young master, who do you plan to send? It must be done cleanly. It's best if no one finds out. The middle-aged man said. Let the 3 phantom killers go. The 3 of them are all peak 9th layer martial king. They're very good at cooperating with each other. Once, a peak king died in their hands. More importantly, no one knows that they're on our side. Even if they do find out, they won't know it was us. Qin Qingfei sneered. Second young master, good idea. I'll do it right away. After saying this, the middle-aged man left in a hurry. Kid, no matter how many treasures you have, they'll all be mine in the end. Qin Qingfei muttered as a cold smile appeared on the corners of his mouth. In the restaurant, the two chatted as they ate. When the auction ended, it was already evening. After 3 rounds of drinks, night had fallen. Thank you for today's banquet, Brother Lu. Fei Xue will take her leave now. I'll bring Brother Lu to the teleportation platform tomorrow. Fei Xue got up and left. Thank you. Lu Ming nodded. After Fei Xue left, Lu Ming also paid the bill and left. Lu Ming's heart stirred. He did not return to the original inn. Instead, he turned a few streets and changed to another inn so that he would not be targeted. Walking into the room, the water of life appeared in his hand. He opened the jade bottle and a strong aura of life spread out. The water of life, this was the water of life. Lu Ming closed the bottle and a trace of excitement appeared in his eyes. Father, your injuries can finally be healed, Lu Ming muttered. Back then, Lu Yutian was also a genius martial artist. As a martialist himself, Lu Ming knew very well what kind of pain it was to be unable to cultivate. Although Lu Yutian didn't express it in front of them, that didn't mean that he didn't desire to cultivate. Lu Ming knew full well that Lu Yutian yearned for it. Lu Ming had been working hard for this. With that, Lu Ming stored the water of life in the Temple of Paragon. Right at this moment, a sense of crisis suddenly descended upon him. Danger! Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. Whoosh! 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 At this moment, more than 10 vines suddenly appeared in the room and wrapped around Lu Ming. Lu Ming waved his hand, and a spear light swept out, shattering the vines and rushing out of the room. Boom! Just as Lu Ming rushed out of the room, a huge metal bottle above his head fell toward Lu Ming. From the metal bottle, a large net shot out and covered Lu Ming. Below Lu Ming, vines that resembled venomous snakes coiled around Lu Ming. Whoosh! 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 In the night, 3 figures flashed and pounced on Lu Ming like ghosts. The 3 figures each gave off a powerful aura of the peak LV9 Martial King realm. You're courting death! Lu Ming bellowed as his aura surged. With the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps, heaven and earth rumbled and the vines below exploded. At the same time, a spear light, which contained a powerful cutting power of the wind concept, rushed toward the net and shattered it. Clang! 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 At this moment, the 3 figures attacked with their strongest attacks. A wisp of sword chi and a saber light attacked Lu Ming's 2 vitals from the left and right at a shocking speed. However, the most terrifying thing was that an arrow tore through the night sky like a streak of light, aiming for Lu Ming's back. It was simply too fast. Above his head, the metal bottle continued to press down. This was a sure kill situation. If caught off guard, even a peak king would be killed. Unfortunately, Lu Ming's current battle strength had far surpassed normal peak kings. 10,000 dragons kill! Lu Ming stabbed out with his spear, and hundreds of tricolored dragons danced in all directions. Pun! The jade bottle was sent flying far away by the dozens of tricolor true dragons. The two assassins on the left and right coughed out large mouthfuls of blood after being hit by the dragons. They screamed as their bodies cracked and died on the spot. As for the arrow, it was the most powerful one. It broke through the dozens of tricolor dragons, but it also disappeared. "Let's go!" Behind him, a figure holding a bow changed his expression and continued to flee into the distance. "You want to leave after trying to assassinate me?" Lu Ming took a step forward and used the 9 dragons' heaven-stomping steps. At this moment, the shockwaves of the battle had already spread out in the night. Countless figures appeared in the surroundings to watch. "How bold! Someone actually dares to attack in Hong City! That's that youth from the auction. Indeed, someone was greedy and wanted to steal the treasure. Looks like he kicked an iron plate. That youth's battle strength is too terrifying. He's even stronger than a Peak King." Discussions could be heard in the night sky. Someone recognized Lu Ming. There were even some people who had coveted Lu Ming. At this moment, they were secretly glad that they didn't attack. Otherwise, they would have died. The black figure was extremely fast, but Lu Ming was even faster and caught up with him in a few steps. "Die!" A spear light flashed, and the figure was nailed to the ground, no matter how much he roared. Lu Ming's figure flashed as he devoured the essence blood of the 3 and took their storage rings. Then he left. Soon, Lu Ming appeared 200 miles away. He found a secluded place and entered the Temple of Paragon. No one would be able to find him in the Temple of Paragon. I wonder who sent someone to assassinate me. Qin Qingfei? Lu Ming immediately thought of Qin Qingfei. He had changed his residence temporarily, but he was found in just a few minutes. This showed how powerful the person behind this was. Of course, he couldn't rule out others. Killing intent flashed in Lu Ming's eyes, but he shook his head. He was going to leave tomorrow anyway, and he didn't want to cause trouble. Then, he closed his eyes and started cultivating. Not long after, Qin Qingfei's angry roar could be heard from his palace. "What? I killed Ghost Shadow 3, and then I lost track of that kid. Trash, all trash!" Qin Qingfei roared. "Second young master, that kid's battle strength is far above our estimation. I'm afraid he's not weaker than a Peak King. He might even be slightly stronger than an ordinary Peak King," the middle-aged man said with a frown. Qin Qingfei took a deep breath and said coldly, "Looks like we have to ask Big Brother for help." "Second young master wants to ask first young master?" The middle-aged man was shocked. "That's right. That kid wants to use the interdomain teleportation formation? How naive!" Chapter 596. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, the sun had risen. Lu Ming sent a message to Fei Shui and then headed in the direction of the interdomain teleportation formation. Lu Ming saw Fei Shui outside the palace. "Brother Lu, I received news that you were assassinated last night. I've been sending messages to you, but I couldn't send them out. I thought something had happened to you." Fei Shui asked worriedly when she saw Lu Ming. It seemed that Fei Shui had received the news last night. "Just a few clowns. It's not a big deal." Lu Ming smiled. He had been in the Temple of Paragon for most of the time, so he couldn't send any messages. Light flashed in Fei Shui's eyes. She had received news that the assassins weren't clowns, but people with powerful cultivation. According to the corpses, they had concluded that the assassins were the famous triple ghostly shadow kills. One could imagine how powerful the assassins were to be able to escape unscathed from the triple ghostly shadow kills. Fei Shui was even more curious. Was Lu Ming really from the Tianxian domain? As far as she knew, only those on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Tianxian domain could have such combat strength. "Miss Fei Shui, let's go to the interdomain teleportation formation," Lu Ming said. "Okay." Fei Shui nodded and led Lu Ming to the interdomain teleportation formation. After passing through 12 checkpoints, they appeared in a huge square. From afar, there was a huge altar-like structure in the center of the square. It was the interdomain teleportation formation. Around the altar, there were rows of soldiers in metal armor standing guard. These soldiers were not ordinary soldiers. Each of them exuded a powerful aura. Most of them were peak LV6 Martial King Realm cultivators, and some were even Great King Realm experts. This is an important place. What are you doing here? With a cold shout, a middle-aged man appeared in front of the two. Lu Ming's eyes flashed. This middle-aged man was Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle, who had appeared last time. I'm here to take the interdomain teleportation formation, Lu Ming said. You're still here? Didn't I tell you last time that there are no more places? Leave now. The middle-aged man waved his hand casually. I have my own place, Lu Ming said as he took out the interdomain token. The middle-aged man's eyes darkened when he saw the token in Lu Ming's teleportation token. With the realm teleportation token, as long as one's identity was clean, one would be able to use the realm teleportation formation. So you bid for a transregion token. Alright, you have the right to take the transregion teleportation formation. Which region do you want to go to? You can't be more than 20 regions away from the Hong domain, the middle-aged man said. Tianxian domains, Lu Ming said. Domain Tianxian domain? The middle-aged man's of Tianquan's SFU. The middle-aged man waved his hand. At this moment, a gloomy voice sounded. Was of Lu of eyes. Upon hearing this voice, Lu Ming's eyes turned cold, and he turned around. Two young silhouettes were rushing over at high speed. One of them was Qin Qingfei. The other person was wearing a green robe. He was tall and slender, and his face was cold. He exuded a cold and terrifying aura. Qin Shan! Fei Shuai suddenly exclaimed as she looked at the green-robed man in surprise. Qingfei, Qin Shan, why are you here? When the middle-aged man saw Qin Qingfei and Qin Shan, he smiled and greeted them. Eighth uncle, big brother and I are here to capture an audacious man. Qin Qingfei sneered as he looked at Lu Ming and shouted. Lu Ming, how dare you steal from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's treasury and steal a large number of ultimacy crystals? Kneel down and await your punishment. I stole from the treasury? Which eye of yours saw it? Lu Ming sneered. Is there a need to stare? The ultimacy crystals that you took out were stolen from the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace's treasury. You still have them in your storage ring. Take them out for inspection. Qin Qingfei shouted. Qin Qingfei, you're spouting nonsense. The treasury of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace is extremely well guarded. Even a Sea of Soul Realm expert wouldn't be able to barge in, let alone Lu Ming. You're simply spouting nonsense, Fei Shuai shouted angrily. Qin Qingfei was clearly trying to pin a crime on Lu Ming without any evidence. How could she not be angry? Fei Shuai, this is the truth. Are you trying to protect him? Qin Qingfei shouted. You! Fei Shuai's chest heaved. She had never seen such a shameless person. Flying snow, just step aside. No matter what, I will not let you pass. No matter what, this kid must stay and undergo inspection. If he's innocent, he'll be released. Qin Shan stepped forward and said. Although his voice was calm, it was filled with a commanding tone. Qin Shan, as a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents, you're actually as shameless as your brother? Fei Shuai shouted. I said take this kid down first. Once he's innocent, he'll be released. Qin Shan said indifferently as he stepped forward. A cold aura emanated from his body and pressed down on Lu Ming. Kid, do you want me to do it or do you want me to do it myself? If you hurt yourself, don't say that I'm too ruthless. Qin Shan looked at Lu Ming indifferently. Although he knew that Lu Ming had killed the triple phantom kill, he still didn't care about it. This was because he was a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents, ranked 999th. Qin Shan! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. He remembered that he had seen Qin Shan's name on the list of top 1,000 talents. He was ranked 999th after Saint Star. I'd like to see how powerful a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents is. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with fighting spirit. You want to fight with me? Ha ha! Qin Shan chuckled, but everyone could hear the disdain in his voice. Ha ha, kid, you want to fight with my big brother? You're overestimating yourself. Qin Qingfei laughed. Brother Lu! Fei Xue exclaimed softly. She knew how terrifying Qin Shan was. It's okay. Lu Ming smiled, and the fighting spirit in his eyes intensified. He was about to fight with Saint Star when he returned to Tianxian Domain. What harm was there in testing the strength of a genius on the list of top 1,000 talents? Lu Ming, right? You're not bad. Half a year ago, you might have been qualified to fight with me, but now you're far from it. Qin Shan smiled faintly and stepped forward. Boom! A powerful aura rushed out from Qin Shan's body. It was mighty and filled the air. The huge pressure was like a huge mountain, pressing down on Lu Ming. Peak King! Lu Ming's eyes lit up. Qin Shan's cultivation had reached the Peak King realm. He had just said that Lu Ming could fight with him half a year ago, which meant that he was still a Peak King half a year ago. Now, he had broken through. Chapter 597. Come on! If you can defeat me, I don't mind staying. A strong aura shot up to the sky and broke through Qin Shan's pressure. Yes, Qin Shan's ranking was one rank lower than Xing's. If he could not defeat Qin Shan, then even if he returned to the Tianxian region, he would most likely not be Xing's match. What was the difference between returning and not returning? You've got guts. Let me see what you've got. An extremely cold concept emanated from Qin Shan's body. The surrounding temperature dropped rapidly and a layer of ice even formed on the ground. Ice concept. Qin Shan had comprehended the ice concept. 1. A ray of icy cold saber gleam shot out from Qin Shan's body. It was extremely cold as it slashed violently toward Lu Ming. Lu Ming clenched his fist and a long spear condensed and stabbed forward. This spear only contained the two concepts of wind and fire. Boom! The blade radiance and spear radiance collided and a strong force shot out in all directions. Ice and fire filled the air and a strong wind howled. Kacha kacha! The armored soldiers moved and stood in a row. Rays of true origin radiance emanated from their bodies and neutralized the strong force that shot out in all directions. Qin Qingfei retreated quickly and avoided the strong force that shot out rapidly. As for Fei Xue, she took a few steps back and avoided the strong force that shot out in all directions. Her beautiful eyes stared at the field. As for Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle, he took 2 steps back and blocked the strong force. After the explosion, Lu Ming and Qin Shan did not move at all. So you've comprehended 2 concepts. Interesting. Take my next move, proud snow ice blade cut! Qin Shan shouted coldly, and an even stronger blade radiance burst out and slashed towards Lu Ming. This was a blade radiance that was condensed from the concept and true origin. It was bone-chilling, and wherever the blade radiance passed, snow-white ice crystals appeared in the air. This blade radiance was stronger than the previous one. Boom! At this moment, Lu Ming's body was surrounded by flames. Within the flames, there were traces of lightning. Outside the lightning, a strong wind howled. Wind, fire, and lightning, the 3 concepts exploded at the same time. True Dragon Strike! A dragon roar resounded, and a tricolored true dragon flew out and clashed heavily with the icy saber light. Immediately, the state spread out, and true essence tyrannized. On Qin Shan's side, waves of cold waves spread out and a thick layer of ice crystals formed on the ground. On Lu Ming's side, the intent realm of the 3 colors was wreaking havoc. This move was also a draw. 3 concepts! Qin Shan's face was extremely gloomy. As for Qin Qingfei, Flying Snow, and the others, they were dumbstruck. Lu Ming's strength exceeded their expectations. Not bad, you can make me serious! Qin Shan's voice rang out. His palm glowed, and a war blade that was filled with an incomparable chill appeared in his hand. Just to get serious? A cold smile appeared on Lu Ming's face as the wind thunder spear appeared in his hand. A surging battle intent rose as a spear glow soared into the sky. Prideful snow 8 slashes! Qin Qingshan shouted. His body brought a gust of cold wind as he pounced on Lu Ming. The snow-white and icy saber light violently slashed out from Qin Qingshan's hand. After the first slash, the second slash followed. One slash after another, and the power was incomparably terrifying. At this moment, the true essence in Lu Ming's body was boiling. His strong body that had reached rank 7 also erupted. Together with the three concepts, it turned into a dazzling spear light and blasted out. Boom! Boom! The two figures collided. The saber light and spear light bombarded wantonly. The sky and the earth trembled slightly as the two collided, as if they could not withstand the bombardment of their power. The two fought from the ground to the sky, and in an instant, they had exchanged dozens of blows. Whoosh! Whoosh! Immediately, the two separated and stood on opposite sides of the void. Qin Qingshan's eyes were extremely gloomy, and his killing intent was like a storm. He was a peerless genius on the list of top 1,000 talents in Eastern Wilderness. Throughout history, he was the only one who could defeat others of a higher level. Now, Lu Ming's cultivation was at the peak of LV9 Martial King realm, and he could not win decisively. If news of this spread out, his reputation would definitely be greatly tarnished. This was something he could not bear. Therefore, he decided that today, not only would he stop Lu Ming, but he would also take his life. Only by killing Lu Ming could he restore his reputation. Kill! Qin Qingshan roared, and his aura became stronger. Buzz! But at this moment, the altar of the interdomain transmission formation not far away emitted a dazzling light. Countless rays of light gathered in the air, forming a huge vortex. In the vortex, a light flashed, and a figure suddenly appeared on the altar. It was a man who looked to be in his 30s. His long hair was loose, and he was casually wearing a gray robe. A large wine gourd hung at his waist. Rumble! Just as the man appeared, the vortex in the sky did not disappear. Instead, it shook violently and roared. Nest, didn't I just eat one of your eggs? Do you need to chase after me? The man murmured. However, in the next moment, a loud roar was heard from the vortex. A claw covered in scales reached out from the vortex and grabbed at the man. The man's figure flashed and flew down from the altar. Bang! That claw slammed into the altar, causing it to rumble. Then, it actually exploded, turning into rubble that splattered everywhere. As soon as the altar was destroyed, the vortex shrank rapidly. An unwilling roar was heard from the vortex. The claw covered in scales was withdrawn and disappeared. Oh, the interdomain transmission formation is destroyed. It seems like I have to travel on my own. I thought I could slack off a little. The man murmured as he took up the wine gourd at his waist and gulped down a few mouthfuls. Everyone at the scene stared at the man with their mouths agape. Who was this man? Why did he suddenly appear? Most importantly, the interdomain transmission formation was destroyed because of him. How could this be? Lu Ming's eyes widened rapidly. He could not accept this. How could he go back now that the interdomain transmission formation was destroyed? Half a year's time had already passed. Someone destroyed the interdomain transmission formation. Go, take him down! Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle suddenly reacted and let out a hysterical roar. He was in charge of the interdomain transmission formation. Now that the interdomain transmission formation was destroyed in front of him, he would not be able to escape punishment. The hundreds of soldiers at the scene moved and surrounded the man. Hundreds of powerful auras gathered and were terrifying. Among these hundreds of people, the weakest was a sixth-layer martial king. More than 50 of them were kings in the greater success stage. Even a peak king would have to retreat in fear when facing such a force. However, the man did not seem to see it. He picked up the wine gourd again and gulped down the wine. Speak, who are you? Why did you destroy the interdomain transmission formation of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Tell me the truth and I can leave your corpse intact. Chapter 598. I say, brother, you don't look old, but your eyes are blurred. This altar was clearly destroyed by that claw. What does it have to do with me? The robust man said, and then drank a few more mouthfuls of wine. His expression was wanton, unruly, and unrestrained. Nonsense! That claw was obviously drawn by you. No, I suspect that it was a trick you used. You condensed it. Now surrender! Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle berated loudly. The robust man looked around and actually laughed, saying, Looks like there's still a good show to watch here. Come one by one. When you're done, we'll talk about my matter. Then, he actually took out a chair, sat down, and drank a few more mouthfuls of wine. Good wine, really good wine. Why don't you have a few mouthfuls? It's free. The robust man looked around and said, Acting crazy. Attack, take him down! Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle roared. Kill! Kill! Hundreds of armored soldiers shouted, and their auras were like rainbows. Hundreds of powerful Jinyuan converged, forming a huge palm that grabbed at the robust man. This was a joint attack. With hundreds of armored soldiers working together, even a Peak King would be suppressed instantly without any chance to escape. However, the robust man didn't even bat an eyelid. He opened his mouth and drank another mouthful of wine. Then, he opened his mouth, and a drop of wine flew out. The robust man flicked this drop of wine, and it flew toward the huge palm in the sky. There was no sound, but a shocking scene appeared. When this drop of wine touched the huge palm silently collapsed and disappeared. Everyone present opened their eyes wide in shock. A drop of wine easily defeated the joint attack of hundreds of armored soldiers. What kind of cultivation was this? Sea of Soul Realm! You're a Sea of Soul Realm expert! Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle cried out in shock. The robust man didn't answer. He drank 2 more mouthfuls of wine and said, You guys continue your matter. When you're done, we'll talk about my matter. Qin Qingfei's eighth uncle's expression was uncertain. He took out a sound transmission jade talisman and sent out a few messages. Then, he said to Qin Qinshan, Qinshan, quickly take down that kid. I've already sent a message to the palace master and the others. They'll be here soon. Okay. Qin Qinshan nodded and looked at Lu Ming again. Lu Ming, I didn't think that there would be an expert like you in Tianxian region. Now that the teleportation array is destroyed, you can't return to Tianxian region. Let's have a good fight. Qin Qinshan's battle intent, and his saber light. Lu Ming stared in the direction of the altar, feeling somewhat indignant. Now, it seemed like he couldn't return in a short period of time. After which, he looked at Qin Qinshan and said in a firm voice, If you want to fight, I will keep you company. With Qin Qinshan, ice. Qin Qinshan shouted. In the next moment, his body emitted an even colder aura. His entire body seemed to become transparent, as if he had turned into a block of ice. Even his hair turned white. However, his aura was even stronger. Tianxian region? When the robust man heard the words Tianxian region, his eyes lit up. He looked at Lu Ming with interest. Fight! Lu Ming held the long spear in his hand. His long hair flew in the wind, and his aura was strong. Without saying anything, Lu Ming stepped out. The long spear emitted a bright light, and it quickly became as big as a mountain. It charged towards Qin Qinshan. Break for me! Qin Qinshan opened his mouth and spat out a river of ice. It charged towards the spear light. Boom! There was an earth-shattering roar, and the spear light flew up. Lu Ming used the force to fly up into the sky. Slash! In the next moment, Qin Qinshan slashed out a mighty saber light. It was terrifying, and the void shook as if it was going to be split in half. 9 dragons in the sky! Lu Ming let out a long howl and took a step forward. Then, a second step, a third step. After 3 steps, the space exploded. The saber light dissipated in the air. Swoosh! Qin Qingshan became one with the saber and turned into a saber light. He charged towards Lu Ming. Boom! The two collided. Their bodies retreated slightly, and then they collided again. At that moment, Qin Qingshan was a notch stronger than before. The saber gleams whistled continuously and swept towards Lu Ming continuously. Lu Ming wielded his spear like a dragon. The long spear danced, and the dragon roared. He fought fiercely with Qin Qingshan. However, Lu Ming slowly fell into a disadvantageous position. A Peak King, also known as a half-step into the spiritual sea realm, was only half a step away from the spiritual sea realm. They were extremely powerful. A Peak King, in terms of combat power, was 2 levels stronger than a Peak 9th realm martial king martial artist. As for Qin Qingshan, he was originally a peerless genius. He could fight across 2 levels. An ordinary Peak King could be killed by Qin Qingshan in 1 move. Although Lu Ming was strong, his cultivation was only at the Peak 9th realm martial king. He was still suppressed by Qin Qingshan. However, it was not that easy for Qin Qingshan to defeat Lu Ming. In the blink of an eye, dozens of moves had passed. Although Lu Ming was at a disadvantage, he still managed to resist tenaciously. Is this the talent on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Wilderness? He is indeed powerful. Lu Ming's mind raced. Kid, do you want me to inscribe inscriptions for you to release genuine core power? Dandan whispered in Lu Ming's ear. No need, Lu Ming replied. During this period of time, his cultivation had risen too quickly, and it could be described as crazy. His strength had risen too quickly, and it was not so easy to completely control it. He needed a period of time to adapt and break in. Now, he could borrow Qin Qingshan to train his own strength, so that he could achieve perfect control of his own strength. The battle continued, but at this moment, 3 figures silently appeared. Their bodies emitted an incomparably terrifying aura. Palace Master, Vice Palace Master Qin, Vice Palace Master Wang, you are here. This is the person who destroyed the teleportation altar. Qin Qingfei's 8th uncle was overjoyed when he saw the 3 of them. He flew over and bowed respectfully. The leader was a white-haired old man with a ruddy complexion. He was the palace master of the Hong Domain branch palace of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. The other 2 were middle-aged. One was a middle-aged man, and the other was a middle-aged woman. The 3 of them looked extremely gloomy as they looked at the middle-aged man. However, when the palace master of the Hong Domain branch palace saw the middle-aged man, his expression changed. He was shocked and respectful. How dare you destroy the interdomain teleportation formation of the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Speak, who are you? The middle-aged man looked at the middle-aged man and scolded him. Vice Palace Master Qin, don't be rude! The white-haired palace master suddenly shouted. The others were stunned and looked at the white-haired palace master in confusion. Haha, Lord Yen, why are you in the Hong Domain? Chapter 599. Everyone else was stunned. Then, they looked at the man in his prime with shock and astonishment. Is he a big shot in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace? Otherwise, why would the white-haired palace master, an existence akin to a regional official, a spirit sea realm palace master of a large region, be so respectful to him? The strong man glanced at the white-haired palace master casually, took a sip of wine, and said, Look over there! Look over there! He pointed at the battle between Lu Ming and Qin Qingshan and continued to watch with interest. The white-haired palace master did not dare to say anything and also watched. When they saw it, the faces of the palace masters changed. A Peak 9th realm martial king with such combat strength. Who is he? There is no such person in the Hong Domain. Where is he from? The white-haired palace master could not help but ask. He, I heard that he is from the Tianxian domain. How is it? He is quite strong. The robust man chuckled. So he is from the same place as Lord Yen. The Tianxian domain is really full of talents. The white-haired palace master sighed and flattered the strong man. The others on the side seemed to have thought of something and their faces changed. They looked at the strong man in awe. Lu Ming and Qin Qingshan were unaware of all these. The battle between the two of them had already reached its climax. Qin Qingshan exerted all his strength without holding back. Today, he had to defeat Lu Ming. However, although Lu Ming was at a disadvantage, he was extremely tenacious and was held back by Lu Ming. Moreover, Lu Ming seemed to be getting braver as the battle went on. Delightful, delightful. I'm becoming more and more proficient in controlling my own strength. I'm becoming more and more proficient. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. At this moment, the two had already exchanged more than 100 blows. Although Qin Qingshan was strong, he could not do anything to him. Lu Ming had some idea of the combat strength of the top talents on the list of top 1,000 talents in the Eastern Wilderness. At least, he had some idea of the last few people. Saint Star was ranked before Qin Qingshan, but only one place higher. Even if he was stronger than Qin Qingshan, his strength was limited. Boom! With a loud explosion, the two of them were sent flying backwards. Lu Ming retreated 200 meters, while Qin Qingshan retreated 150 meters. That's right. Let's end this battle. At this moment, the robust man spoke. Qin Qingshan casually swept a glance over and could not be bothered with them. With a loud roar, he was about to charge towards Lu Ming. Qingshan, stop! Vice Palace Master Qin shouted softly. With a wave of his hand, a force blocked in front of Qin Qingshan. Father, why are you stopping me? Today, I must destroy him! Qin Qingshan roared. If he couldn't thoroughly defeat Lu Ming in today's battle, his reputation would definitely be greatly affected. He was already at the bottom of the list of top 1,000 talents to begin with. Now that the next ranking of the list of top 1,000 talents was refreshed, he might fall out of the list. This was hard for him to accept. Qingshan, I told you to stop, so stop! Vice Palace Master Qin's face darkened as he scolded. Qin Qingshan's expression changed. His father rarely lost his temper with him. What was wrong with him today? Then, he glanced around and saw the white-haired princess standing respectfully beside the robust man. His eyes flashed as if he had thought of something. He glanced at Lu Ming unwillingly and then went to Vice Palace Master Qin's side. Haha, it's over. I'll take my leave then. The robust man stood up and stretched. With a wave of his hand, the chair on the ground disappeared. The robust man strode towards Lu Ming. Young man, come with me. The robust man said to Lu Ming. Come with you? Lu Ming's eyes flashed, and his face darkened. To be honest, he did not have a good impression of this robust man. If not for him, the interdomain teleportation formation would not have been destroyed. Young man, aren't you going back to Tianxian domain? I'll send you back. The robust man said. You have a way to send me back to Tianxian domain? Lu Ming was stunned. Why? You don't believe me? I'm going back to Tianxian domain anyway. It's okay to take you back. The robust man drank a mouthful of wine and said. Yes, I believe you. Lu Ming hurriedly said. Just now, he also saw that the white-haired palace master and the rest were very respectful to this middle-aged man. This middle-aged man definitely had an extraordinary identity. Perhaps he really had a way. Lu Ming could only hold on to any glimmer of hope now. Senior, wait for me! Lu Ming called out, and then flew towards Fei Xue. Fei Xue's beautiful eyes were full of splendor. Lu Ming's strength had exceeded her expectations. A LV9 Martial King was able to contend with Qin Qingshan. If Lu Ming became a Peak King, wouldn't he be even stronger? Perhaps he would be able to contend with the top 700 or 800 geniuses on the list of top 1,000 talents. Miss Fei Xue, I have to go. Thank you for your help during this period. This is for you. Lu Ming took out a storage ring and handed it to Fei Xue. Fei Xue subconsciously took it. We'll meet again. Lu Ming cupped his fists, and then flew towards the robust man. The robust man waved his hand and a stream of genuine essence wrapped around Lu Ming. He said softly, "Let's go!" In the next moment, Lu Ming and the robust man disappeared. Fei Xue's mind sank into the storage ring, and then her beautiful eyes flashed. 2,000 metal profound crystals lay quietly in his storage ring, emitting a strong aura of intent domain. "Brother Lu!" Fei Xue looked up, but Lu Ming's figure had disappeared. "Father, who is that man? He destroyed the interdomain teleportation formation and left just like that." Qin Qishan asked Vice Palace Master Qin. Vice Palace Master Qin pondered for a moment, and looked at the white-haired Palace Master. The white-haired Palace Master nodded and said, "You guessed right. He is Yen Kuangtu." "What?" Everyone present widened their eyes in shock. Lu Ming only felt his vision blur. In the next moment, he was shocked to find that he was already outside Hong City. Fast, unbelievably fast. "Kid, which part of Tianxian domain are you from?" The robust man looked at Lu Ming curiously. "I'm from the eastern part of Tianxian domain, Cloud Emperor Mountain Range," Lu Ming said. "The eastern part of Tianxian domain, what a coincidence. I'm also from the eastern part of Tianxian domain. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, I haven't returned to Tianxian domain for decades. This time, I heard that there are some problems in ancient Desolation City, so I went back to take a look." The robust man drank a few mouthfuls of wine and looked to the east. "Ancient Desolation City?" Lu Ming's eyes flashed, but he did not say much. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming cupped his fists and said, "Senior, when will we return to Tianxian domain?" "Haha, what's the hurry? Come and drink with me. It doesn't matter if it's for a while." The robust man laughed and landed on a hill outside Hong City. Then, he casually sat on the ground and took out some roasted beast meat from his storage ring and started eating. Lu Ming had no choice but to sit on the side. "It's easier to travel after eating and drinking. Come, have a bite too." Chapter 600. Lu Ming reached out and took it. He opened his mouth and took a sip. However, when this mouthful entered his stomach, Lu Ming's expression changed. He felt that this mouthful of wine had turned into a raging flame that burned in his stomach. Rumble! Immediately after, this mouthful of wine transformed into waves of extremely terrifying, scorching energy that was like stormy waves, rampaging within Lu Ming's body. From the outside, one could see that Lu Ming's body was swelling rapidly, as if he could explode from this energy at any time. Too strong, this energy was too strong. The robust man looked at Lu Ming seriously. If Lu Ming couldn't withstand it, he would help. "Devour!" At this moment, Lu Ming let out a low roar. A powerful devouring force emitted from his spine, devouring the majestic energy in his body. Lu Ming sat cross-legged and circulated the true dragon battle art with all his might to refine it. Half an hour later, Lu Ming let out a long breath and opened his eyes. A bolt of lightning flashed in his eyes, filled with a terrifying aura. "What pure and majestic energy!" Lu Ming exclaimed inwardly. He felt that the energy in that mouthful of wine was even more terrifying than refining a few million supreme-grade spirit crystals. If it weren't for the fact that Lu Ming's state hadn't broken through, he felt that he could rely on the energy in that mouthful of wine to break through to the Pinnacle King realm. Of course, this was just an illusion. Breaking through to the Pinnacle King realm wasn't something that could be done with a few million supreme-grade spirit crystals. However, Lu Ming's true yuan was still a little thicker and purer, reaching a limit. A mouthful of wine was actually more terrifying than a few million supreme-grade spirit crystals. Lu Ming was shocked. He had seen the man in his prime gulping down mouthfuls of wine without stopping. Not bad, not bad. In just half an hour, you were able to refine a mouthful of my wine. This is the first time I've seen a little guy like you. The robust man looked at Lu Ming and exclaimed. "Senior, thank you for the wine," Lu Ming said. "Do you want a few more mouthfuls?" The robust man said. "No. I don't want it." Lu Ming waved his hand repeatedly. He hadn't made a breakthrough in his intent realm yet, so drinking it would be a waste. After pondering for a moment, Lu Ming asked, Junior is Lu Ming. How should I address Senior? Me? Yan Kuangtu, have you heard of him? The robust man said with a smile. What? You are Yan Kuangtu? Lu Ming's eyes widened, filled with astonishment. Almost everyone in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace knew who Yan Kuangtu was. Especially the Tian Divine Guards of the Tianxian region. Yan Kuangtu's entire life was a legend. Yan Kuangtu came from an unknown small mountain village in the eastern part of the Tianxian domain. However, with his peerless talent, he grew up step by step from a small mountain village and eventually became a rare genius in the Tianxian domain. Later, Supreme Nine Sons valued him and took him in as a disciple. After being taken in as a disciple by Supreme Nine Sons, he displayed even more terrifying talent. Countless geniuses and monsters were suppressed by him one by one. He stepped on all the geniuses and climbed all the way to become a top expert in the Emperor Heaven Divine Palace. It was said that Yan Kuangtu's cultivation was no weaker than his master, Supreme Nine Sons. This legendary figure was now standing in front of Lu Ming, alive and well. Lu Ming's feelings were the most special. Because Supreme Nine Sons' remnant soul was now in the Temple of Paragon. Supreme Nine Sons could be considered as Lu Ming's half-master. Without Supreme Nine Sons, Lu Ming wouldn't be where he was today. Yan Kuangtu was Supreme Nine Sons' disciple, so Lu Ming felt closer to him. Should I tell Yan Kuangtu about Supreme Nine Sons? No, I can't tell him. This matter is too big, I can't take the risk. A thought flashed through Lu Ming's mind, but he immediately rejected it. First of all, this matter was too unbelievable. Also, Yan Kuangtu was now in an important position by Martial Emperor Di. What if he was on Martial Emperor Di's side? If he told him, wouldn't he be courting death? Lu Ming decided not to say anything. At the very least, he would not say anything before he was powerful enough. So it's Senior Yan. Senior's name is like thunder to my ears. Lu Ming gathered his thoughts and cupped his fists. Haha, you're welcome. Alright, now, I'll take you back to the Tianxian domain, Yan Kuangtu said with a laugh. Go back? How do we go back? Lu Ming was confused. Of course, we'll fly back. Yan Kuangtu smiled slightly. In the next moment, a terrifying aura spread out from his body. This aura was more majestic than the ocean and as deep as the universe. As soon as this aura appeared, Yan Kuangtu immediately withdrew it. However, Lu Ming was still shocked. He felt that in front of this aura, any Peking was like an ant or a speck of dust. At this moment, Dandan shrank his head in fear and grabbed Lu Ming's shoulder tightly with both hands. Whoosh! Yan Kuangtu stretched out his hand and drew a line in the air. The space was torn apart like a piece of paper, revealing a dark and deep space crack. Let's go! Yan Kuangtu grabbed Lu Ming's arm and stepped into the space crack. In an instant, Lu Ming felt dizzy. His surroundings were pitch black and he couldn't see anything. After a while, the world suddenly lit up. Lu Ming found that they were in the sky above a vast mountain range. Then, Yan Kuangtu stretched out his hand again and the space cracked again. Yan Kuangtu took Lu Ming and stepped into the space crack again. Tearing through space. This was tearing through space. If one's strength hadn't reached an incredible level, it would be impossible to do so. Lu Ming was shocked. Not long after, they appeared above a lake. Then, Yan Kuangtu continued tearing through space. This repeated over and over again toward Tianxian Domain. Tianxian Domain, Tianxian City. These days, it was extremely lively. Lanterns and colored banners were hung everywhere. This was because the number one genius of Tianxian Domain, Xing Xingchen of Eastern Wilderness list of top 1,000 talents, was going to marry the daughter of Tianxian Branch Palace Master. Countless people from all over Tianxian Domain came to congratulate them. These days, the city gates of Tianxian City were wide open and free to the public. In the first level of Tianxian City, there was a huge square. Thousands of tables had been set up in the square. Today was the wedding day of Xingxingchen and Mulins. Many people walked toward the square. Those who could enter this place were all famous people in Tianxian domain. Ordinary people didn't have this qualification. On the side of the square, Mu Xiuyuan and Mu Jing, the palace master of Eastern Branch Palace, stood side by side in a pavilion. They looked at the lively crowd below. Sigh, it seems that nothing can be changed. Laoner wanted to fight back, but in the end, she still came to this step. Mu Jing sighed. Lu Ming has disappeared for half a year. I don't know why. Many people said that Lu Ming was afraid and knew that he was no match for Xingxingchen, so he went into hiding. I don't believe this. With Lu Ming's character, even if he is no match for Xingxingchen, he will still fight, Mu Xiuyuan said. Time is too short. It is indeed difficult for Lu Ming to defeat Xingxingchen. It is good that he didn't appear. It is also good for Lu Ming. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.